For project number 3, I chose to focus my research and studying on intercultural communication regarding LGBTQ plus community. I chose 2 articles. The first one, an article based on the Equality Act. This article talked about the Equality Act that is soon to be presented in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee and is creating a historic face-off between religious exemptions and LGBTQ plus rights. The Equality Act's purpose is to overall override existing law that says federal government must show it has a compelling interest before curbing religious rights. I chose this specific article because it outlines so many different opinions and goes really into depth with how all of the communities are communicating with each other in light of this Equality Act. To begin, we have Casey Suffredini, an attorney and transgender man who heads Freedom for All Americans, and this is a group trying to build bipartisan consensus for the Equality Act. Casey Suffredini is trying to cultivate a following for this historic act, his call to action being, "We have one shot to get this done, and we've been trying for 50 years. He's trying to keep dialogue going as the Senate debate starts Wednesday, and he's encouraged by a lot of a new crop of religious conservatives for some LGBTQ plus protections, even if they want exemptions. Then the article goes on to focus on Shirley Hoogstra, and Shirley Hoogstra is the president of the Association of 180 Theological Conservative Schools in the United States. She explains that not too long ago the LGBTQ plus community was not out yet on her radar, and therefore it wasn't being brought to light what attending a theologically conservative schools could do to a young member of the LGBTQ plus community. Things like banning homosexual relations on campus. However, Hoogstra is now a strong advocate of a measure called Fairness for All, which widely broadens LGBTQ plus protections in public life, but allows significant exemptions for faith-based institutions. There is a bit of backlash to be received by this because many people, like Jesse Hammonds, a transgender man, feels like they are compromising on their existence. And just because Fairness for All is really capitalizing on the fact that as a transgender man, they don't have as many rights, and it's easy to override them. And that's really what the article talks a lot about, just the intercultural communication between people who think that they're helping and people who don't have bad intentions, but aren't doing enough in the LGBTQ plus community's eyes. The next artifact I chose was an article written about the changing laws taking place in Poland. So we're going whole entire different part of the world and whole entire different conversation basically, but still the LGBTQ plus community. This Catholic country is taking steps backwards in the fight for equality compared to the United States. They are already barred from adopting children as couples, but some local authorities looked favorably on applicants adopting as single parents. Poland's Justice Ministry has proposed that a legal loophole should be closed to prevent LGBTQ plus people from adopting children completely. Anna, an activist and a mother who had her daughter in a previous relationship and is now married to her wife, who is in Poland, says she can't even collect registered mail on behalf of her wife at the post office. That's how little they are recognized in Poland. She states that she feels sick of feeling like a second-class citizen, and that after 6 years of being an activist, the rights are no better and perhaps worse. A lot of LGBTQ plus members in Poland are now considering a move to Berlin to feel safer because they feel like they're constantly worried about being punched in the face by strangers on the street for holding hands with their wife. And I really found these two articles interesting because in the United States, we don't usually bother thinking about what rights are being taken away from people halfway around the world. And we are taking a large leap over here forward in equal rights with the Equality Act. And it's definitely not the last step for LGBTQ plus community, obviously for equality, but I think it is a very historic moment and something that should be recognized as huge for the people here in the United States. However, all the way in Poland, homosexual couples cannot even start their own families, more or less join families. I think it's very important to truly engage in other cultures around us, especially when we have the same communities. Just because they're all the way in Poland, the members of the LGBTQ plus community can still join forces, I want to say, and advocate for somebody, although they're not in the United States. Thank you guys for listening, and I listed both the articles and their citations right here so you can dive deeper into them. Thank you.